It's time to head to the track for a supercar dogfight. And this time, it really is a clash of the titans. It's McLaren versus Porsche. This is the new Porsche 911. Granted, it looks like virtually every other 911, but this is the 8th generation and is based on an all-new chassis.
And we're excited about this because after 56 years of production, 911s have become the benchmark by which all supercars are judged.
Famed in Formula One, this is McLaren's brand new supercar, the 570S. Now, they only started mass-producing road cars back in 2011, and I didn't care much for their first effort, the MP412C.
I'm the same, it's got less confidence in this. I'm not feeling the car as much.
But since then, their road car division has gone from strength to strength. So has this new McLaren got what it takes to topple the 911 from its throne? Well, there's only one way to find out.
Right then, where's my wingman? Ah, Karun.
Hello.
Joining me and putting his F1 experience to good use is Karun Chanduk, and we've got 3 track tests lined up to find out which car offers the best overall performance.
I'm feeling a bit generous. Which keys do you fancy?
Maybe the McLaren today.
There's the Porsche stuff.
Every time.
First up is an agility test. Now, supercars are frequently judged by their punchy headline stats, things like power, 0 to 62, and top speed. But we all know that supercar drivers like actually driving. So this test will see which of these two is the most nimble.
Now, the 911 comes in just 2 flavors at the moment, the Carrera and the Carrera 4S, which is what I've got here today. Now, that means 4-wheel drive and bags of traction.
The Carrera 4S normally costs £98,000, but that particular car is loaded with £13,000 worth of performance extras, which includes rear-wheel steer. And that's a system which will help guide the back of the car better round tighter turns. So Karun's got plenty of help on this one.
The plan is to steer our cars through a 5-cone slalom before making a hard left turn and back around 180 degrees to the finish line.
Karun and his 911 are up first.
Right, I'm ready.
Right, up towards the slalom now. Flick the car through, using that 4-wheel steering, pick up the power. Hard on it, upwards. Don't overshoot, flick it in. Stay with the throttle. Oh, bit of oversteer across the line, but dramatic finish, got there.
20.9 seconds. Not bad.
Right, let's see what I can do in the McLaren.
So, no 4-wheel drive system going on in here. The 570S is good old-fashioned rear-wheel drive, which could be a downside on this test. There's also no rear-wheel steering.
But I'm not worried. This is lighter than the Porsche by 125 kilos, and in this kind of car, that makes a big difference. The better power-to-weight ratio will really help in a tight slalom course. And like Karun, I've also got adaptive dampers and carbon brakes, but they don't cost me any extra.
Plato's been banging on about the options of my Porsche, but what he's failed to mention is that the base price of his McLaren is 50% more at £150,000. Oh, and he's also got 26 grand worth of option carbon bits on it.
He's not wrong. My spoiler, intakes, engine cover and brakes are all carbon fibre extras, and expensive ones at that. But these are going to help me leave that Porsche for dust.
Right, prepare to be bedazzled. I'm going for a 20 dead.
I'll take another step back, shall I?
Oh, come on, JP, we're off. Right, traction. Nice and neat through the cones.
He clipped the last cone.
No prizes for neatness, Karun, and no penalties either.
Overshot the corner.
Oh, this looks quicker. 20.65.
So the Porsche was 1/3 of a second slower than the McLaren.
So you're surprised at that?
I was. I thought in the greasy conditions, the 4-wheel drive would help me off the line, but ultimately 125 kilos more just wasn't as agile.
I think you're right. So, Casey, you've licked your wounds, and we're going to move on.
The next test is all about the ability to corner well, something that's an absolute must if you're going to spend 100,000 or more on a machine that's built for speed.
Each driver gets 3 attempts to record the fastest speed at a quick corner at Landau. It's a proper test of grip on the limit.
And nerve. Shall we get to it?
Karun's up first in the Porsche. Now, there are 3 things in particular that contribute to cornering at a high speed.
Firstly, you need an even weight distribution between the front and the back. Too much weight at the front and you'll understeer. Too much weight at the back and you'll oversteer and probably spin out.
With the engine at the back, I've got 60% of the weight on the rear of the car. So I could make it a little bit tail happy.
Secondly, you want to eliminate body roll because that throws weight to the outside of the car, which means grip could be reduced on the inside wheels.
So this particular car is fitted with Porsche's optional PDCC and PASM suspension system. So that helps to lower the car and also stiffen it up, which should help through the corners.
And finally, and crucially, there's the width of the tyres.
Big fat tyres offer loads more grip than skinny ones. The Porsche has got 245s on the front, 305mm big tyres on the rear of the car. Trust me, that's fat. So right, let's give it a go.
Come on, son.
So we've got 3 attempts to record the fastest speed at the apex. Let's see what the Porsche can do.
Coming up to the corner now.
69. Do you know what? That's the national speed limit, and we're doing it around quite a tight corner.
Take 2, and it's already looking quicker.
74.
I'm just warming this bad boy up.
Take 3, and he's flying.
75.
It's got a little bit of understeer as you come through the corner, and then it opens up once you commit to the throttle.
So after 3 runs, the Porsche has done 75 miles an hour at that apex point. I wonder if I can beat that in the McLaren.
Could it all come down to weight distribution and body roll?
So yet again, no frilly PASM or PDCC tech in here. And I've got skinnier tyres. We've got 225s on the front, 285s on the rear. But this car is mid-engine, unlike the Porsche, which is a rear-engine layout. So I should have a better balance. I've certainly got a better weight distribution of 42% on the front and 58 on the rear. So let's see if we can do a really good apex speed.
Can the McLaren manage to beat 75 miles an hour?
Oh, Porsche's winning.
67, not good. He needs a whopping 8 miles an hour around that bend to even catch me.
70. JP, have another go. I'm not really going to tell you what you've done, but have another go. You might want to have another go.
Obviously, I need to go quicker. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not telling you anything.
Well, this is my last go. Oh, I'm all getting a bit nervous now.
He's got to find 5 miles an hour just to equal me. I think you'll find that the Porsche is a surprising winner.
Well, do you know what? I did think that might be the case, actually, because it's a bit pointy, this car, quite twitchy, nervous at the rear. I mean, that last run, I gave it, probably a bit too much on the way in, but you could see I was working a bit harder than you were.
With the less powerful Porsche beating the McLaren on that one, I think Karun might be feeling a bit smug.
So
you were 5 miles an hour. That's a big difference.
Yeah. But if I try and carry any more speed to the apex, I just get understeer.
Yeah, right. Do you think the tyres play a part? Because obviously they're smaller than the Porsche.
Yeah, maybe that's made a difference. But also I just think, that's got rear steer.
Yeah.
It's got loads of electronic gizmos. This really doesn't have any.
Yeah. There you go, round 2 to the Porsche.
So it all boils down to this, a race.
2 laps of the circuit to see which car has the best blend of power, handling and brakes.
Talking of brakes, they're carbon. They're £6,000 option. You know that, don't you? Standard on this.
Yeah, yours is 150 grand versus 100 grand. You don't get it, do you? It's 50% more money.
Yeah.
In for a penny, in for a pound, Karun, and I reckon this car is well worth the extra cash.
I'm not so sure, but a race-off will at least help us decide once and for all which of these new supercars deserves the crown.
So, I've got 450 horsepower from a flat 6 3-litre twin-turbo engine, which is a lot less than what Jason's got. In fact, 120 horsepower less. But, as we've seen on many occasions on fifth gear, the 911 can punch above its weight. So let's see what we can do in the race.
I actually think I'm going to have my work cut out in this much more livelier McLaren. It's quite a demanding drive.
Now I've got 570 horsepower underneath my right foot, which is a huge advantage over the Porsche, thanks to, a twin-turbo 3.8-litre engine. Now, even though I don't have four-wheel drive, I reckon if I nail the start, I should have the edge, but it's going to be close.
Meanwhile, I'm in the more graceful car. It's a smooth ride and I know it's not going to give me any bother. I'm feeling quietly confident.
My four-wheel drive system should help under acceleration. Combined with an extra 30 torque, I could possibly have an advantage coming out of the corners against the McLaren.
For the record, the 911's 0 to 62 time is 3.4 seconds, while the McLaren makes it in 3.2, so it's on.
Awaiting us is a tight, twisty Welsh track, and with just a couple of decent straights for overtaking, getting off the line first is going to be crucial to get the win.
3, 2, 1,
Here we go.
Launch control in the Porsche working superbly into turn 1.
He's got the inside.
Yes, got him, JP. Four-wheel drive helped me off the line, right. Over the curves, I think the Porsche is really very good in terms of ride quality here.
Yeah, fight up, bit of oversteer there.
Even though Karun has taken the lead, I'm not worried. Me and the 570S have got a couple of tricks up our sleeve. On the straights, the pure power of this beast comes into its own.
But now, out of the corners, the McLaren power is coming.
Right, JP. Wow, look at the grunt.
But in the corners, the Porsche is just beautifully balanced.
In the chicane, I can muller these curves way better than he can, I reckon. Right, last corner, this is where it's going to get tricky for me.
And at the end of the first lap, the Porsche is still out in front, but this luscious long straight has got my name written all over it.
Oh, here we go. Let's see if I can tee him up here.
And boom, it was as easy as cutting through butter with a hot knife.
Oh, he's just destroyed me down the straight.
Now I've got the lead, I need to do all I can to hold on to it, and it's not going to be easy.
I tell you what, I jumped on the brakes a bit late there. Only just got past.
The car handling in this Porsche is just like every other 911 we've seen. I can play with it. It's got so much confidence. He's hustling. He's having to really play with it. His tire smoke coming off. The rear tires put down the straight. I just don't have the power to keep up.
I'm struggling to put the extra power down with the McLaren smoking its tyres.
Yeah, through the chicane, I'm gaining. Now the last corner. Little sniff up the inside maybe, but he's just going to put the power down.
And we're off.
The final lap is nearly over. The finish is in my sights. I just need to hold my nerve and get over the line.
Oh, just need the power. Oh. Wow, that was fun.
How quick is this in a straight line?
It's just power, isn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't lose by much in that
No,
race.
and do you know what? It's quite hard work driving this
Yeah,
thing.
it did
mean,
look
you
like
know,
hard work. You see the smoke coming off your tyres.
It just is so lively on the rear. I mean, it's great fun to drive, but that seems like a bargain compared to this.
Tell you another thing, JP. This one, 120 kilos heavier, 125 horsepower less, didn't lose by much.
No, it's close, isn't it? That's definitely better around the corners than this, definitely.
Yeah, that one's just got more power. Isn't it?
Yeah. Fun, though.
And by the way, did I mention also costs 50% more?
Yeah.
So yes, the Porsche managed to get around our track nice and neatly, but ultimately brute power in the McLaren won the day. Also, I reckon I was having a bit more fun too. McLaren have come a long way since my first taste in 2011, and the 570S wins our death match.